The teacher strike in Oklahoma is now entering its second week, and this is getting really exciting because they've undoubtedly gotten the attention of state lawmakers, and they're now gaining quite a bit of momentum. So according to Holly Yan and Tristan Smith of CNN, they report, emboldened by support from across the country, Oklahoma teachers swarmed the state capitol for a second week in their unrelenting quest for more school funding. And by some accounts, Monday's crowd was the biggest yet. Hundreds of schools closed Monday as teachers demanded $150 million more to replace dilapidated decades-old textbooks and fund elective courses. They also want higher raises for support staff and themselves. Some teachers walked 15 miles Monday to get to Oklahoma City. They bring the support and advice of West Virginia teachers whose 9-day strike last month led to a 5% pay raise. The teachers' massive protest has already yielded some action by legislators. Shortly before the April 2nd walkout, Governor Mary Fallin signed a bill that provided $50 million in funding for schools, increased teachers' salaries, and gave pay raises to support staff. But the package wasn't nearly as much as educators demanded, so major school districts shuttered and the walkout ensued. While thousands of students remain out of school indefinitely, OEA President Alicia Priest made clear what she thinks lawmakers must do to end the teacher walkout. She said Fallin must veto the legislature's repeal of the hotel-motel tax, and the legislature must pass a bill ending the state's capital gains tax deduction. Until then, don't expect teachers to end the walkout. The Oklahoma protesters joined teachers from Kentucky, Arizona, and other states who've been fighting for more pay, better education funding, and improved working conditions. So this right here is how you get things done. You make a demand and you hold your ground. You don't budge, and that's what they're doing. Legislators, they're inclined to listen because schools are shutting down because of these strikes. But when they didn't offer teachers what they wanted, which is reasonable, mind you, the teachers said, well, that's not good enough. We're going to continue to strike. Since they weren't able to appease the teachers by offering them a fraction of what they wanted, they're now resorting to attacks on these teachers. So the governor of Oklahoma, Mary Fallin, equated their demands to a bratty teenager who already has a car but simply wants a better one. And I'm not joking about that. She actually said this.
Teachers want more, but it's kind of like having a teenage kid that wants a better car.
But their car has been taken away over the last 10 years.
Well, it has been a difficult time, and that's why I'm very proud that this year we were able to get something done for our teachers.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'd like to call a false equivalence, because by doing that, you're suggesting that they're entitled, and two, you're saying that what they have now will suffice when it won't. Teachers are having to take on second and third jobs in some cases, and they're forced to go on welfare because they're not paid a living wage, and this doesn't even account for the thousands in student loan debt some of them have likely taken on in order to acquire an education needed to teach in the first place. Furthermore, as their pay continues to decrease as the cost of living climbs, they're now having to foot the bill more so than ever for classroom supplies since the state is no longer paying for it as they continue to cut education. So for someone with an estimated $3 million in net worth to suggest that these teachers who are paid starvation wages are entitled or being bratty teenagers, I mean, you should be ashamed of yourself, Mary. Where do you get off talking down to people who are just asking for something that is basic? They want a pay increase to basically keep up with the cost of living increases in the state of Oklahoma. How can you look them in the face? How can you look a journalist in the face and say that what they're doing is similar to a bratty teenager who demands a better car? Unbelievable. But of course, what matters a lot is what our Education Secretary says, since she oversees education across the United States. And billionaire Betsy also decided to look down on these teachers. As Corbett Smith of Dallas News reports, following her tour of a Dallas middle school on Thursday, U.S. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos was asked her thoughts on the Oklahoma teacher strike, which has now stretched into its 5th day. Oklahoma teachers, whose salaries lag far behind most of the nation, haven't had a raise since 2008. After many walked out of classrooms on Monday and marched on the Capitol, Republican lawmakers moved quickly to pass a tax bill to increase school funding and give raises that would average about $6,000, but many teachers have vowed to stay away from the classroom until additional revenue measures are passed. I think we need to stay focused on what's right for kids, and I hope that adults would keep adult disagreements and disputes in a separate place and serve the students that are there to be served. So, billionaire Betsy, of all people, wants you to think that she cares about the children. And certainly her family has spent a lot on education, but not in a way that would suggest they give a damn at all about students and children, because as Valerie Strauss of the Washington Post explains, supporters call Betsy DeVos an advocate who cares for children. She may be that, but the policy expression of that concern has been one-sided, and as much about establishing an industry as it is about the kids. The DeVosses have helped private interests commandeer public money that was intended to fulfill the state's mandate to provide compulsory education. The family started the Great Lakes Education Project, whose political action committee does the most prolific and aggressive lobbying for charter schools. Betsy DeVos and other family members have given more than $2 million to the PAC since 2001. So that's how much our Education Secretary cares about the children. So she basically is sticking her nose in the air, looking down at these teachers, suggesting that what they're doing in striking is selfish. But she's got it backwards. If you actually really care about the children, then you have to make sure that teachers are taken care of. Because doesn't it make more sense that a teacher will be more effective if he or she doesn't have to take on a second job and be extra tired and worn out in the classroom? Doesn't it make more sense that if you care about the students, you would make sure that you don't continuously cut education funding and funnel that money to private charter schools? They don't support teachers. They think that teachers are being selfish. They think that these teachers are hurting students, but in actuality, what they're doing will be a net benefit for students if they're able to secure what they want. So I don't care how many smears Republicans, the governor, the education secretary, or even Donald Trump trots out against these teachers. Lob whatever insult you want, but in staying there, standing firm and not caving, they are going to get what is needed for these students, and these teachers are heroes. So any Republican that tries to vilify them, be it Betsy DeVos, Mary Fallin, they should be ashamed of themselves, because in vilifying these teachers and attacking these teachers who are striking for altruistic reasons, they're showing their true colors. They're showing that they don't give a damn about students. So to everyone who's striking in Oklahoma and Kentucky, stay strong, because we're rooting for you. We really are.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.